Well, this week the Confederates doubled down on taking half their citizen stuff. Now, if you own a boat and you're one of the blockade runners that's bringing some much needed supplies in or smuggling much needed supplies out, well, now you got to give half that shit to the Confederacy too. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And Johnny, it's a short week.
Oh, okay. Well,
been saying that a lot this year.
Yes, it's been. Eventually, you're going to be like, "Hey, there's no week. War's over. We win. Let's go home."
Eventually, yeah. Hopefully. This week's going to open up with the U.S. Senate confirming Andrew Johnson to take office as the military governor of Tennessee. Once again, we are reconstructing the South.
Okay, let's keep it up. Yeah, I mean, we got to take it back. So now we're just installing our own puppet governors to kind of do our bidding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Down there in the South. That's perfect.
Yep. Also, Admiral John Dahlgren is going to reach out to Lincoln and see what the fate of his son is, because remember from last week.
Oh, yeah.
That raid didn't go very well for his son, and his son got executed and then mutilated and displayed in Richmond. But his dad hasn't heard that news yet. So he's like, hey, Lincoln, how'd that raid go? And he's like, just don't read the Southern newspapers. Whatever.
He's like, I got a lot going on right now. I will get to our little meeting about that later. Somebody else write him a letter, because that's a tough.
It isn't good.
You know, there's one thing to like write the letters about, your son was killed in war and died a hero, whatever. But whatever they say. But do you give the details, or do you just keep it the same here?
I mean, he's gonna get the details from the newspapers, so
assuming he buys a newspaper, he doesn't have to buy a newspaper.
Fair enough. Yeah.
This day and age.
To hear that your son's raid was unsuccessful, he got ambushed and then slaughtered, tortured, mutilated,
it's that bit.
Body
that's
put on display, blamed and said that he had orders to kill the traitor President Davis, which he may have, he may not have had, who knows.
Yeah, step away from fence on head post type deal. Yeah, that was.
This is not good. On March 5th, the Confederate government is going to order that all vessels give half their freight capacity to the government, i.e. whatever you smuggle, we're going to get half, because that's the Confederate way at this point. We get all your shit.
I mean, they need stuff.
They need stuff. It's Trader President Davis says it's trying to curb the pirates that are smuggling stuff in or out only for their own profit. And
that's right.
And these are much needed supplies for the Confederates, so they get at least half.
That's right. That's one way to justify it. Well done.
Sure. On the 6th, we're going to see a failed attack on the USS Memphis. Confederates are going to launch several torpedo boats that either missed their target or just failed to detonate. So, way to go, secret weapon Confederates.
Okay. They're trying. They're out here trying.
They're out here trying.
It's just
with whatever they can.
This stuff's hard,
But they don't have much of a navy, and what they do have is a couple of dinghies, so they got to do what they can do.
So what, they put them underwater and then miss boats?
They just missed, or
no, these are the ones. They're on top of the water, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like a
little bit. It's
basically kind of like an unmanned version of the Hunley, where they get it going and then they all jump off of it and let it kind of.
Yeah.
It's underwater-ish, but it's not quite underwater. It's just like the Hunley. It's like kind of
It's got a little fin or something above type deal,
like a little shark. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the 8th, Trader President Davis is going to write Longstreet and tell him it's important that he acts and moves back into Tennessee. And Longstreet's like, they got it. It's pretty much theirs. Have you seen how many armies are sitting in Tennessee right now from the Union?
Lot.
We tried. We did our best. We tried to take it back. We had that whole siege around Chattanooga, and it didn't work.
Nope. No.
What do you want me to do about it now? Lost it. Chalk it up to it being gone. Richmond newspapers are going to report that the first free men of color prisoners have arrived in Richmond under the threat of now being returned back to bondage, whether or not they were or were not.
Their little bounties came in, like a train full of bounties came in to be returned or put in place for the first time into slavery. Yeah. That's cool. Good for them. Glad that happened.
And
That
Lincoln,
goes well.
while all this is going on, is going to announce a starting point for the Union Pacific Railroad because while we are involved in the Civil War, we're still building a transcontinental railroad, starting that.
Well,
and
and
so now,
that's right. It is an election year. Let's not forget. Lincoln's got to get something good on the books.
he's got to get something good on the books. So the Union Pacific Railroad, way out in the west, they're going to start at the border of Iowa, right there. Like, boom. That's
great.
the starting point for your railroad, and you're going to work eastward, while the Central Pacific works westward, and then the goal is to meet somewhere in the middle, and hopefully
awesome.
actually line
you know
the
what's
tracks
great?
up so that they connect.
Of course, I mean that's literally 101 building a train, Tommy.
Yes.
Of course, that's gonna not be a problem. But you know what's great? Because it's being built by the North, it's going to be built by laborers who are fairly paid for the work they're doing. Gotta love that.
Yep. March 8th, Johnny, Lincoln and U.S. Grant are going to meet for the first time in Washington, D.C. As reports say, both men were a little awkward.
Well, I mean,
Very awkward meeting. This is the first,
it's
because they know of each
lot
other.
going on.
They have communicated through telegraphs, but this is the first time that
Yeah.
they're in person, shaking those
right?
hands.
Yeah, you know how it is. The first time meeting your pen pal, it's
Yep.
it's
It's a little
you know,
awkward.
a little strange.
Oh, hey, so you're Grant. Yeah, I heard you're
Oh,
doing good
yeah.
things.
Sorry for all the yelling I did.
You're going to be the head guy now. Hope you enjoy it. And it's official, Johnny. On the 9th of March, U.S. Grant is handed his commission as Lieutenant General in a brief ceremony at the White House. And in the
Hooray.
evening, Grant and Lincoln are going to discuss Grant's future battle plans to end this war once and for all.
Oh, good. So we do have. We're gonna finally end it. That's good.
Hopefully.
You know, maybe he should have talked to him about these plans like 3 years ago.
Well, Grant wasn't in charge of everything 3 years ago. Grant's now in charge.
Well,
now.
whoever was in charge, maybe they should have talked about how to end the war.
Well, remember we had McClellan
Earlier.
who did nothing for 2 years except for stare at
Didn't
Lee.
end the
and then
war.
We've
yeah.
had Meade who kicked Lee's ass at Gettysburg, but then has
Sure,
done nothing.
but then didn't end the war.
Since. Then we had Pope for a little bit who
And he
did
didn't-
nothing.
he didn't end the
Burnside
war.
who tried and he got his
didn't-
ass kicked
then
at
did not end
Fredericksburg
the
and then
war.
got stuck in the mud and that didn't work out
Didn't end the
for
war.
him. It didn't end the war. And
Yeah. So, but this time,
this time, Grant's had nothing but success out in the
Let's
west.
go, Grant.
So I don't see how that's going to not be
Bring it
the
back
fact
east.
in the east. And on the 10th, Johnny, Grant is going to leave Washington, D.C. and meet General Meade in the fields of Virginia at the Army of the Potomac. Grant and Meade are going to discuss battle plans. Grant makes it clear that he is going to be leading from the field. He's not going to set up a headquarters in D.C. and just give commands from afar. He's going to be
Attaboy.
in the field. And
that's
Meade,
right. Boots on the ground.
he does assure Meade, like, I
on a
will
horse.
not take over the Army of the Potomac. It is still your overall command of the Army of the Potomac, but, like, I'm above you. But like,
that
it's
sounds
your
like
army,
maybe he is
but, like,
planning on taking over the Army of the Potomac. Who
above
talks
you.
like that unless you're planning on taking over the Army of the Potomac?
Yeah.
Why would you even bring it up, Grant? Why would you even say that?
Just let him know, like, you're still in
Why
command of
would
that
he-
army, but, like, I am
Of
the
course.
commander
Was
of
there-
of all of the
was there-
armies, so.
A bit of a memo that said he wasn't? Like, why would he
Well,
think
Johnny,
he was assuming
we're gonna
that?
have to,
He just wanted to reassure him.
We're just going to have to wait till next week to see if there's a memo that goes out.
I think there might be.
That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight. We talk about all kinds of fun things, like the Great Libby Prison Escape, or Pig Wars, or Egg Wars, or Emu Wars. We did a lot of things about animals and fighting over animals, apparently.